Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream, and that you could have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
All right. Microsoft has been doing major
Nothing. Oh,
restru- major restructuring. This is the biggest restructure in the past 25 years for Xbox. Um, they are looking at firing 4,800 people. It's big. It's massive. I don't work in the corporate world myself, so it's really hard for me to relate to this stuff.
Mhm.
But I just cannot imagine, you know, just putting a product out there or just really just coming into work and not knowing if my key card is going to work that day. Like you live in a perpetual state of anxiety, especially if you're working for Xbox, it would seem like, you
if
Yeah.
you
know.
work in the gaming industry or anything that's supportive adjacent,
Right.
it's uncertain.
Yeah, and so, I know Asha Shawarma, like once again, I know she basically came into a shit show. I can understand that. Like I know she has to take the brunt of all these decisions. But I was telling Snow earlier, I'm like, I mean, you come into a company, you see just how much bloat there is, you realize just why your games aren't coming out like they're supposed to or not coming out at the quality that they're supposed to be at.
Mhm.
And then you realize just how many positions are just here for no reason. Like so many management positions and like decisions have to walk up like a 10-tier ladder, just to get a yes. And I mean, what do you do at that point?
I
I
Right.
want me to
mean,
tell you because I live it.
yes, yeah, go ahead.
It's just it's unfortunate, and it slows down productivity because even in my job I got to get approval for certain things, and it's like in my past job I can just make that decision and move this along faster, right? Like that's
Mhm.
part of my job is to be able to help make that decision for you. Um, but a lot of people need to feel important, and the justification of their roles and insulating themselves breeds roles that are not needed, unfortunate.
Right,
And it's easier for me to bring you on, put you as a supervisor. When something fails, I can blame it on you for not communicating.
right. That's just crazy to me. And that's why you see like I see sometimes on Reddit where like, oh, I've been here for like 6 months and I'm not really doing anything. I'm like, that's the position that doesn't need to be there. I know you're getting a nice fat paycheck or whatever, like you're in some senior management position, but also that position should not be there if you come to work and you just sitting at a desk all day. That's money that could be allocated elsewhere.
Mhm.
And, I said 4,800 in total, but it's 3,200 just from the Xbox. So most of these layoffs are coming from Xbox. And Xbox was riding high during COVID, and I think everybody else was too. Like interest rates were low, companies were buy.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
was stuck at home. Everybody was
Well, everybody
gaming.
was buy.
Everybody,
Sorry.
yeah, exactly. Everybody was buy. Stanley Cup craze, like all that stuff that was going on. People just buying stupid stuff just because you're stuck at home and ain't got nothing else to do. And if you were stuck at home and you didn't have anything else to do, you were either buying something or gaming.
Yeah, but you were also a lot of people were using their government subsidized checks to buy
That
games
too.
and other
Yes.
streaming
Yes.
services. So it was bloated, and they were fictional numbers. Like those things weren't real.
Right. And so we've talked about Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition. That was I think $3 billion. Somebody can fact check me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for at least or a little bit more
Like
than 3 billion.
4 buckets of freaking money is what they bought it
Yeah,
for.
and
Yeah.
this this included like yeah, like Call of Duty was like basically the main thing, and I believe what is Blizzard like what because Activision and Blizzard are both conjoined. They merged together years ago, but I can't remember what Blizzard was for, and I believe it's for World of Warcraft. Uh,
Yeah, that sounds about
yeah,
right.
but yeah, you spent that much money on that acquisition, And on top of that, buying up all these smaller studios like Compulsion Games, and then you got Ninja Theory who puts out Hellblade, which I enjoyed the first one. Second one was not so good, but then Compulsion Games did that Louisiana type game with like stop motion. It looked really good, called South of Midnight. You bought them, and it's just you bought up all these smaller studios, and then all of a sudden, I mean, they did put out good games. Like it wasn't like they put out a bad product. Thinking about Hi-Fi Rush from Tango Gameworks, put out a critically acclaimed game, still got laid off, still got cut out. So your morale, also the morale at Xbox, is not good either. Everybody's on the chopping block. Oh, we lost Snow.
Even if you
Hopefully
put
she
out
will
a
come
good
back.
product, it's not, you're
Right.
not safe.
And who can work under those conditions? Nobody. I mean, the people are not going to put out their best if they work with an axe above their head. I just don't understand why that's so hard to understand, and probably because these executives are so like far removed from being fired. I mean, we know that. We know that the executives and the people making these decisions do not get any blowback from the company, losing money whatsoever. You would think so. You would think that the punishment for, putting the company in the red would be that your salary gets cut.
Why would they do that?
You would get an extreme salary cut in order to make sure that we keep our employees on. Like that should be, not a punishment, because they really are still making millions of dollars. You're still making way more than the people below you. But I just there's just
Yeah, that doesn't make sense though.
Yeah, there is no repercussions for doing something like that. And then the CEO just gets rotated. Like, yeah, he steps down or he resigns or he gets pushed out, but then he just goes to another company, does the same thing over again. But yeah, I was way off from the Activision Blizzard acquisition. That it cost $68.7 billion. Wow,
That's a little bit.
That's a lot of money. Good. And they spent all that money plus buying up all these other studios, and I believe that they were also trying to push a lot of these games toward Game Pass, because they were getting kind of crazy with Game Pass, but I understand why. It's because they wanted.
No, you were getting crazy with Game Pass. Every time I caught you on, what you doing? Playing a new game? Game Pass? Like, god dang.
Why would I not take advantage of that? I'm on my PC.
You're a user.
I'm on a PC. It was $11 for PC users, or $13, somewhere around there. That's pretty reasonable. That ain't nothing. And then I get all of Xbox's library at better fidelity, graphical fidelity. Who would not sign up for that? I still like Game Pass. I still think it's a great thing to have.
Trader.
But I do not think that pushing your what do they call the flagship games like Call of Duty, you don't want that to be sitting in Game Pass. You are bound to lose money unless you meet the threshold for what you want in Game Pass, and I believe that they were hoping for 100 million subscribers on Game Pass. They only got 30 million. And you remember when they took Call of Duty off of Game Pass, because Game Pass, Call of Duty was going to be
First
there day
off,
one.
That's ignorant. You
Yeah.
don't put that on Game Pass.
Right. I just I don't know what the decision was for that, like, at all. But I knew at that point that this might not be a good idea. But apparently they've been bleeding money. Asher Swarmer said they were losing 60 cents per dollar that they made, which is crazy. But it's not like, after all these layoffs, it's not like this studio or this company cannot keep their employees on. They have
but they have the money, but the board, it's not about just the money, it's profit margins, it's percentages, it doesn't matter if they're profitable 9%, but they need to be at 10%. It's getting axed.
Which is crazy to me.
it's the corporate world is diabolical in a lot of ways. I worked for a very, very large company that dealt in sales, and they demanded that you were 10% over last year every week. So we ran reports on if you sold $1 million in a week as a track, you needed to be 10% above that, or there was hell to pay. And then next year, you had to be 10% above that as well. So I
You
think it's
can't.
Marriott, or it's one of the big ones, Marriott, Windermere Hilton. I forget which one it is, but they're like a $2.2 billion like annual. They have to be like 15 or 20% above that. Something crazy like that, I heard. Like mandatory. Like, what are you talking about? That's
Dude,
crazy.
you cannot have continuous growth. You're not going to get that. What happened to longevity? When did the culture change from always having to do more than the next quarter? You're going to
Well,
hit the ceiling, and then when they do that, then you get layoffs. Because then once you get hit to the ceiling, you're like, oh, we're not making as much. Well, apparently we need to get somebody
well,
needs to
because they
go.
look at it as you made 2.1 billion, not 2.5 billion. It's a loss. And it's sad, man. It really is.
It really is, because your company can sustain itself for a very long time if you just have like, oh, this is our threshold. Like this is, we measure a certain amount of like annual income over 10 years. This is a good baseline for us to keep. This allows us to keep our employees on, give raises when they do good, and like all this other stuff. But instead, it's just like we gotta climb, and we can't when we can't reach the next peak, cut the ones at the bottom so we can keep going.
Right?
So we can keep going up. Like we got to get rid of this extra weight at the bottom. Like that's
We need to start
exactly.
getting rid of some of the weight at the top.
I swear. Or like I said, just cut. They don't need to be making millions of dollars. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, it's sad because I love gaming. I've loved the games that have been put out by these smaller studios. I don't think we would have been able to see the games that came out if it weren't for Xbox. But at the same time, they came in acting like they wanted to see this, to see these companies or see these studios do well, because Xbox has always been in third place. I don't think they've had a single game that ended up in the game of the year, that have not ended up in a game of the year lineup within the past decade. And so everybody was waiting for something. But once again, here we are.
If they're gonna do massive layoffs to get money back in their pockets, I hope they do something constructive with it. Whether it's bring the company back into a good standing, whether it's console development, if it's Game Pass, if it's cloud gaming, I don't know. If they're entering a microchip and I think about a game and it plays in my dreams, like do something if you're going to restructure the company in such a massive way. Like
Right.
it's not just, oh, we're gonna let 4,800 people go now, and then come Christmas, it's another 4,000 people. Like, guys, come on now.
Right.
You got to do something with the money you're getting back.
Yeah, I just it's terrible. I'm really hoping that they restructure in a meaningful way, and I don't know. I guess as
If this is what has to be done to save the company, then I don't want to see Xbox go away. You know what I mean?
right.
It's good. It's good for gaming. It's good for, well, kind of weird to say this, but it's good for jobs, even though they just cut a whole bunch, or planning to, or whatever the thought is. But the company has to be in good standing too. Like they can't just
Right.
hemorrhage, millions of dollars. You have to look at it from a company standpoint. They can't just constantly be, throwing money out the window. But if you are going to get to a point to where you have to make massive changes, then I hope they can bounce back and, bring another positive influence into the gaming world, because you don't want PlayStation to just run amok.
Yeah, you see how that's
Not a
going.
good thing. Yeah, you can't let them just go unchecked with rivalry
Right.
and that. And you're not going to do that just solely based on PC games. That's not going to happen.
Right. And
So hopefully
Game Pass is not going to do that for you.
it's not going to be enough, especially with some of the exclusives that PlayStation has, and they have a strong feral player base, just like PC does. But hopefully, whatever cuts they do, they can restructure and get the people some jobs back and come back a little bit stronger. But God, I hope they don't. I hope this isn't a trend of what's going to come over the next couple of months as we approach holiday season.
Right. I do want to note, before we close up, that studios like Ninja Theory, they had like the trailer. Hellblade was announced at the showcase, and then we heard rumors, or there was actually reports that the studio was going to close, and people were like, "Well, are y'all still releasing this game that you showcased?" But apparently they're entering talks with Xbox or Microsoft about like ownership and all that. Like they're trying to advocate to keep them back on. So hopefully we still. And I think Aisha Swarmer came out and said that any title that you saw that was at Microsoft Showcase is not going anywhere. So at least for now, they're not going anywhere. But we'll see.
That's what they told them Destiny staff.
Right.
So
also we were also supposed to be getting the Marvel's Blade game. I don't know why Blade is so cursed in film and in gaming, to the point where we can't even get a single IP out. But my God, we don't even know what's going to happen with Arcane's
I blame it
Blade.
on Wesley Snipes getting them eyes CGI because he didn't want to open them during that one session. He had to be petty. Just open your eyes.
I want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. I think he would do fantastic. But yeah, Xbox, get it together. PlayStation is just running rampant right now. They think they can do anything to us with no consequences. But yeah, it sucks. It feels like it's natural to see this type of stuff in the gaming, in the corporate world of gaming anyway. And that's why you see so many people splitting off and getting their own studios, because why would you want to work under these like behemoths anymore? They promise all this stuff and then cut you like you're nothing. They tell you you're family, but you're not really family. You're family as long as you're making that bottom line.
Of course. Of course.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Xbox, get it together. Ghost, you got any more thoughts?
Nope.
All right, well, let us know in the comments what you think about us. Well, Lord, what you think about this.
Let us know what you think about us. That's what we really wanted to say.
Give us your well thought out opinions, but above all else, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a video. We will catch you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.